Hello and welcome to another edition of the Timeout. Today, the five wise men, the fifth you can't see, is our producer. Five wise men have come up with a topic which is that one cricketer that you think has underachieved the most. I know underachieve is a word that sometimes has negative connotation, but we're actually looking at it rather positively, as in a cricketer we thought had a lot of potential but did not play according to that potential, did not achieve that much success that the person deserved to. So I'm joined by Siddharth, Shashwat, Harshit, and what we're going to do, the rules, as you always know, we'll come up with the the one cricketer that's underachieved the most, not underrated. Underrated could be anyone who's done rather well but did not get the accolades.
Yes.
For example, Rahul Dravid could be underrated for someone, right? But in this case, we're looking at the ones that did not achieve greatness that they could have.
Shreyas Iyer could be underrated for many.
Underrated? No.
Why does his name always have to come up?
Because you both are Amna Samna, that's why, no? And you have to bring up Shreyas here every single time.
But I think we're joined by one cricketer who didn't achieve much in life. I'm not taking any names.
You don't have to take, there was only one former test cricketer.
Former test cricketer.
But yeah, he graces us too often, so
Yep.
I'm happy.
Okay, let's get down to business. Starting with who wants to go first. We'll have one choice each. And if you think that you have more names, then we'll be generous enough to allow one more round. No more than 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Why? Because then Shashwat might come up with 5, 6, 7, 8.
3, I had 3 in my mind.
Okay,
so I'd come up
the
with
third
2.
will not be a debate. It can
Yeah.
be an honorable mention from
Mention, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure my third name would be in any one of yours list. So I would just skip the third one.
Possible. But you have to remember, start with the
Yeah.
most underachieved that you
Sorry.
think. And there could be a debate. Some people might think that no, he got what he deserved. Who wants to start?
I'll start off.
Okay.
Okay. No, let him start. Then you get to start round 2. Go.
The name I have in mind is a certain Vinod Kambli.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, 7 test matches, first 7 test matches, you scored 2 double hundreds.
Back
you
to
scored
back.
2 hundreds as well. You have that record 600 plus partnership with Sachin. So there's so much around your name. Your test average is around 54 at that time. Everyone thought you were the next big thing in Indian cricket.
Ramakant Achrekar rated Kambli better than Sachin.
Yes, left-hander. We've always had that obsession for left-handers as well. But terribly, terribly underachieved. And what happened later in his life also, didn't paint a good picture of him overall. Even
that probably was the reason why.
Was the reason as well for his misdemeanor, for his
Lack of discipline.
multiple disciplinary issues. So yeah, I think.
So, I heard a story. Now I can share it because you're talking about Vinod Kambli. He traveled to South Africa for that first tour that India did.
1992.
Yeah. And so apparently.
After reinstatement.
Yeah.
Apparently, he. At that time, his girlfriend, which he married, a girl from Pune, she was an air hostess, and he was married to her, but at that time they were courting each other. And so, in one of the hotels, if I'm not mistaken, it was Durban, one of those places. Obviously, he would speak to her at night. In those days, it was like ISD or trunk call or whatever they must be placing. There was no mobile phone as such. And it used to be rather expensive, right? Unlike today. So in one hotel, for whatever one test match or whatever he must have stayed, he ran up a bill of lakhs. And in those days, players didn't have that much money to pay, not their DA, they weren't earning that much. There was no IPL. So I know the story from a teammate of his where he had to collect money from everyone to be able. So one of his teammates said, "Yaar, itne mein to there was a gap between test match. You could have bought a flight ticket, gone, met her and come back. The amount of money that you spent talking on the phone." So yeah, I mean that just adds to. I think that is probably one of the reasons why he underachieved. Though in his case, a lot of people don't get chances after that. He did make comebacks into the team, but then never really was the player that he was to begin with when he was a youngster. I think let go of his fitness also. That was.
They say he had a weakness against the short ball also.
Short ball.
Yes, he did. But I'm saying, as I said, if he was more disciplined, a lot of players have weakness against the short ball, which they can work on. Case in point is the first name we took while we started. But they can overcome it,
Yeah.
provided you're disciplined and you work.
But was there admission that there was a weakness?
Those days, players would admit to it.
At times it
They were not fiery.
In fact, Vinod Kambli, I was talking about the third person, and I was pretty sure that one person is definitely going to be in your list, and that's why I'd skip him. It was Vinod Kambli.
Thank God we don't have to bear
Yeah.
the third name.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that it would be in someone or the other list, and a very big reason for that is that I have read this Sachin Tendulkar's autobiography. He has mentioned about Vinod Kambli a lot and in a very high regard in that sense. And he was always somebody I feel that would have gone miles ahead. I draw that comparison to now Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill in that sense, comparing them to the both of them then. So that's why I really felt that way, that Vinod Kambli would have been somebody who would have served India for a much longer time.
Yeah, so I don't think there can be any arguments on that. All of us kind of.
He's the biggest what if.
Yeah, what if there will be more when we go.
Yeah. Depending upon the names that
through
we
the
take.
room,
Yeah.
But yeah, Vinod Kambli is definitely one of them, the underachievers,
Your
provided
pick?
the kind of talent that he had. My turn. So I also have three names in mind, but I'm hoping maybe someone gets picked, so I don't have to. Otherwise, the third can be just the honorable mention. If I have to pick one, I'm going Andrew Flintoff. Because I think he had a lot of people will say that how is he underachieved? He's, played about 70 plus test matches, a lot of ODIs as well. He's played about 140 odd ODIs, something in that range. So a lot. Picked up 200 plus test wickets. So that is there. 3,000 runs both in ODI, test, all of that is there. But I think the kind of talent that he had, he was a match winner single-handedly. And the reason I say he's underachieved is because for me, he was in the same bracket as a Jacques Kallis.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in terms of talent, pure talent, he was there. In fact, on certain days, Flintoff was far more effective as a match winner than even Kallis. Kallis would be going about his business quietly. But look at that stark difference. I mean, Kallis has played 160 odd test matches. This guy only played half of it.
Yeah.
Kallis has played 360 odd ODIs. This guy's played only half of it. Was he half the player that Jacques Kallis was? Definitely not. He was as good a player as Kallis was. In terms of pure talent, I think he would have gone down as one of the greats of the game. Like, if you had discussed that's the talent that he had. But I think 3,000 odd runs in both, he should have gotten more.
There's a couple of other names I had from the same English team you're talking about, again in the early 2000s, but I'll hold my thought for now. But
Yeah.
I do agree.
Yeah,
I do
but
tend to agree.
Flintoff at his peak.
For even people my generation, I think he was the be all and the end all as far as an all rounder is concerned. You wanted to, if you were an all rounder, you wanted to be Flintoff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with him was he had a peak, and when he was at his peak, he was undoubtedly probably the best cricketer on the planet. But that peak didn't last
Long. Only a year.
Yeah.
Plus his injuries. I mean, when he was at his peak, you remember in that 2006 series, immediately after the Ashes, he had to bowl against Sri Lanka. He bowled 51 overs. And that took a toll on his ankle. He was never the same after that. So the workload that England mistakenly gave him, that took a toll. And that's why the peak could never be maintained. Prior to that, Flintoff was touted as, maybe he may not be able to do it. But 2005 Ashes changed that totally.
That was Flintoff's Ashes.
Oh, Flintoff's
So
Ashes.
Botham's Ashes.
This is Flintoff's
Flintoff.
Ashes.
And so see, that's what I'm saying, Botham's gone down in history as one of the greatest. And I think Flintoff had that to be considered.
Plus, if you have to look at it, in that period when England were so bad against spinners, he gave them that one win in India on that wicket in Mumbai.
Yeah.
He won you that
Mumbai test match.
Plus he won you the ODI series where he ran around Wankhede with his shot.
No, it was drawn. That series was drawn. 3-3.
He drew it. That was a match that they drew.
Spurred Ganguly on. Teammates at Lancashire, but man.
That blue and black jersey, was it?
Yeah, blue and black. Yeah.
But was he really because for me, by the time I started watching cricket, till then Andrew Flintoff was somebody who went way before that sort of not being playing on a regular basis and wasn't somebody who was a prominent name by then. But still for my generation and at my point also, I remember knowing about Flintoff much more talk, because at that point you do not know, at the age when I am talking about, I did not know much about foreign players in that sense. But Flintoff was one of the people I knew about, and because all-rounders in general, fast bowling all-rounders worldwide at that point weren't too many. So if I knew about them, and he was a prominent name in that sense in cricket. So I think in that sense, I'm not too sure if, because maybe I don't know what he was actually capable of as much as you would know, because you've seen him through the career.
Once an underachiever, if I was to pick the top 5 England cricketers today, he won't find his name there. But he should have been.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe because you
If
know
I
the
was to-
caliber.
That's why I said, for me, there wasn't too much of a difference between Callis and Flintoff in terms of the names they were, and at one point they were probably going to be looked at as competitors. But look where they finished. Callis is undoubtedly one of the greatest to have played the sport, right? But Flintoff will never be there. Look at the numbers. There's such a huge difference. And I agree there was injury and so on and so forth, but it shouldn't have been. The talent between them was not deserving. It's pretty much like Sachin and Kambli, where the talent-wise many thought that they were equally talented. Look at the numbers today, where Sachin finished. So to that, he was underrated for me.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he could have had more numbers.
Rather, not underrated.
Yeah.
He was not underrated, but
Underachieved. He would have had far more numbers than Ian Botham, who is considered to be the gold standard for England's all-rounders.
Because he was far more lethal than Botham the bowler. Botham relied more on swing. He was quick. I mean, Flintoff was quick. And he was a destructive.
That over to Ponting.
Yeah.
Ashes, man. 90 mile per hour leg cutters. Oof.
You had to wait for an Ishant Sharma to trouble Ponting the way.
3 years later. Yeah.
Even the batter. Anyway.
I sort of spoiled it for everyone here because I named it beforehand only, but not for the people. So yeah, Prithvi Shaw is my most underachieved player.
But in his case, he's still playing, so he could end up being an achiever.
Yeah, but till now, I feel why I'm calling him an underachiever as of now, because till now he should have been where we see a Shubman Gill at. Because
probably even ahead.
Yeah, even ahead for that matter. I'm saying at least that is where we should have.
He was the next Virender Sehwag.
No, not just Virender Sehwag. It's not. See again, under 19 was when he actually came out and started playing senior cricket. But even before that, while he was playing age group cricket, at that time also he was a very prominent name in age group cricket around the country, not just for Mumbai. You knew who Prithvi Shaw was.
546 for Rizvi.
Yeah. When he was a 14-year-old.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So he was somebody who was definitely going to become that, and it wasn't just again. There were many people. I remember there was this one Pranav Dhanwade who scored 1,000 runs, but you never. It wasn't a certainty that he's going to play for India. But with Prithvi Shaw, it was sort of a certainty that he's going to definitely play for India. And even today, when I look at him bat, I just feel what has he actually done? Because today also, I think aesthetically in that sense, I just feel that he's one of the most pleasing to the eye batters in that sense. Just when he's in, just the back foot punches, the cover drives, just get on the ball and play. He's so compact in that sense. I feel, and I remember him telling me a story that after that under-19 World Cup, it was Shubman Gill everyone was after Prithvi Shaw. Shubman Gill was so easy to get in that sense, to have an interview or talk to him in that jet size. So it just means that everyone was banking on Prithvi Shaw so much. He made his international debut, got a century, debut across formats whenever he made his domestic debut. So he just ruined it for himself.
No, he was the next Sachin, the next Sehwag, all of those things were said. Yeah, clearly he hasn't, though in his case he can. But I agree, the trajectory that his career has taken seems down.
I mean,
I think in the Sachin and Vinod Kambli comparison, I think he's the Vinod Kambli and Shubman Gill is the Sachin.
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time.
Because see, Prithvi had gotten the records of domestic that Sachin had started off with. Centuries in the Ranji and all the three.
Everywhere he had a century on debut.
So yeah, the comparison seems apt, but then it could change if Prithvi gets his career back.
It seems unlikely now.
Yeah.
He's too far behind the pecking order.
But again, his batting, he sort of bats the same way. The kind of punch he has, very few players I've seen with that sort of a punch.
But it has to coincide with results as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is not happening. Okay, so that's your pick. We haven't even done round one.
I know, so I'll keep it short. My biggest player that I would, in the time that I was growing up, Narendra Hirwani.
What a start to his career.
What a start. 16 wickets against the West Indies side in Chennai. In an era when India cricket was at its downslide, he gave you that one ray of hope. Domestic, he was taking 5 wickets for fun. But look at what happened in the international arena. He was the epitome of tiger at home, lamb abroad. Because when he went abroad, especially in England, he was taken to the cleaners by Alan Lamb, if I have to look at it in 1990. In that Lord's Test match, I remember Gooch and Lamb really feasted upon him. That was when we realized that, yes, that tag game, he can't perform overseas. That dipped his confidence. But until 1996, when he had toured England, 8 years after he started, he'd never reached those meteoric heights again, although he was performing very well in domestic cricket.
Marathon bowler as well. You could, I think that
Workhorse.
record of bowling the most consecutive overs does belong to him.
No, that I am not aware of. But Hirwani, for the kind of start that he had and the domestic performances that he was going about it, he could have been in tandem with Anil Kumble. Then, if you have to look at, imagine the two leg spinning twins. Kumble took his opportunity. He surged at, Hirwani fell behind.
Okay. We've done round one. I have 3 names. I'm just in my head, which is the one
gets the maximum votes.
Which one gets the maximum vote? And I'm caught in a bit of a soup because what if I do not, before the 10 don't get my chance? So, but okay, I'll go. I'm going Mohammad Asif.
You took away mine.
So I'll take that away. You can.
But I have another name. But this round I was saving Mohammad Asif.
I'll go with another one.
But since the names come up, we can just do.
So this is your turn. You go with Mohammad.
Yeah. So I had Mohammad Asif again. The kind of peaks that he showed again, mid 2000s again.
Magician.
He was totally ruling the, especially red ball format of the game.
Yeah.
There was nobody close to him. There is another teammate of his who has made it to my list, but I'll come to him perhaps the next time. But Mohammad Asif, you look at that bowler, you always, and this had nothing to do with India-Pakistan rivalry, let's say. Rivalry aside, this is a bowler you admired. You don't get to say that for a lot of bowlers, especially with a nation when you have such a fierce rivalry with. But Mohammad Asif, an on-song Mohammad Asif, was simply unplayable.
How many test matches? 20, 30 test matches or he played somewhere there, that many.
Somewhere.
So for a bowler of that talent who on a given day could outfox anybody, that ability to get the ball to move both sides at will, incredible.
He was lethal in the Sena countries. Yeah. Absolutely lethal.
Of course, his whole misdemeanors did not do him any good, and he's to be blamed. But whatever be the reasons, because we're not dwelling too much into but the talent that Mohammad Asif had needed to be a much bigger bowler. He should have been in the same breath as a Wasim, a Waqar, whatever in Pakistan. He's not there, primarily because of...
What an action.
The delivery to
Lakshman. Both deliveries in Karachi. First innings, I thought first innings was even better than the second one. Because first innings, Lakshman looked settled, way outside off, came back in, knocked the top of off stump. Man, that was a delivery. Second innings, it was a middle stump that went cartwheeling. But
so I take it I have your votes.
Yeah.
Shashwat?
Yeah.
You've got 2, it's done. So 5 names done. 4.
But your turn now.
So my turn, you made it easy for me. I can pick another one. My name is Maninder Singh.
yes.
Not a lot of people would know because, previous to your generation, because I spoke to a lot of players that played against Maninder Singh from India, from overseas, and I didn't even name, the late great Dean Jones, in fact, told me that in his life, the best spinner that he ever played against was Maninder Singh. He had no qualms about saying it. And for a guy who debuted at 16 years, something, made a record, and at that stage, I've heard stories of domestic cricket that when the ball would come out of Maninder Singh's hand, you could hear it. Like you could hear the revs on the ball at his peak. The problem with him was he had it, which at one time he was unplayable across the world of cricket, and he lost it. He lost it really fast. It just, and I tried to speak to a lot of people as to what happened, why. They said, just, it is that zip you were getting on the ball, the turn and whatever the craftsmanship that he had. It was like a, superpower that God had given you, and you had it, and one day he said, I'm taking it away from you. And from there on, I know that, I'm not saying that when he slowly and gradually was out of the team, didn't get to play too much, was anything because of unfair selection or anything, nothing like that. His performance had dipped, that he had to be out, and slowly his career then, frittered away. But that peak of Maninder Singh, like Flintoff, was so short. If he had continued, he would today be in the conversation alongside.
Bishan Singh.
No, all spinners. Anil Kumble, Harbhajan Singh, and Ashwin. We were talking about. There would have been a Maninder Singh. So
He played for Delhi only.
Yes.
Yes, from Delhi boy
He was
from
a
Patel.
selector once as well, right? He later became the selector as well.
He was involved with the DDC for a very long time.
He was an umpire for the longest time. Now a commentator, but
Yeah.
also had a few, unfortunate incidents little later. So in his personal life, which he had to deal with, a lot of controversies that followed him. But post his playing career, but what I hear from old timers that at his peak he was Bradman-esque with the ball in his hand.
The two iconic images that I have of Maninder Singh. One,
Tight test.
he's giving that, and also
that is as a batter.
as a batter, yeah. But also second as a batter. He was also involved when India lost by 1 run. Same venue, 1987 World Cup.
Correct.
Steve Waugh was bowling that over then.
Yes. 1 run again. And then India lost 92 as well.
By 1 run at the Gaba. But in 87, I remember, I think Australia had protested. That ball had gone for 6. The umpire had signalled a 4. The Australians appealed, and then Kapil, they said, okay, 6 runs. That made a difference. 2 additional runs, they lost by 1 run.
Kapil Dev was generous.
I mean, imagine telling it to a Virat Kohli now, that was a 6, please give us 2 runs. He will not agree to
Those
that.
days used to ask
Gentlemanly.
the captain.
Yeah.
They want a 6. Le lo yaar.
He would
He
have.
was generous enough not to do the Mankad also.
Yeah, he was.
Despite warning.
Yep.
So they do it. Anyway.
He might have played in the same generation as Maninder, right? Around they played 87, 88 period. My name in this list was.
So does Maninder make it?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so we have got now 6.
6.
6 names.
Raman Lamba for me.
Oh, good call.
Raman Lamba was a domestic behemoth. We all thought that.
Even he was in my list too, but I don't take him because I think underachieved.
The conflict here is, I agree with you, and a lot of people who played Delhi cricket idolize him and said that I agree with you. The stories I hear about domestic cricket. No, but underachiever, I'm rather looking at someone who's shown that he was outstanding, let's say had a man of the series or some sort of performance in
That Australia series that India won, but he didn't get too many chances. That was the problem.
Correct. But so that, the qualification is a...
Because in the 80s, what happened was there was a rotating door in Indian cricket. I mean, with the way Gavaskar left, you needed a partner for Srikanth, right?
Yeah.
There were so many contenders who wanted to step up. Raman Lamba got a chance, but then I don't know why he was chucked after the Australia series. Probably, yes, after that consistency became an issue. But for the way how he performed in domestic, he should have gotten a longer rope and performed better also.
Okay, I would not vote for him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't because of the criteria here. That's
but we do not outvote Siddharth twice, so his name...
You can, I mean...
We also have to finish the 10, right?
Yeah.
So we are now only 7.
7.
We take Raman now, but I don't, because while I agree with you, these are the stories that I've heard about him. As a batter, bowlers used to be scared of him when he used to walk out. Also a dashing looking guy, aggressive batter, so on and so forth. But I just didn't see that spark and the kind of players that we're talking about at international level who did so well, which the world spoke about. This is more within India that people spoke about, but I'm talking about world stage. But anyway, we've gone with one of Siddharth's picks.
Shahbaz Nadeem for me. The only issue.
Again.
No, again. I know. Maybe.
Again,
Qualification.
Same thing. I
Qualification
understand.
criteria.
No. I understand. Maybe everyone hasn't seen that spark in that sense, but I feel in a team you need players who sort of just go under the radar in that sense. I think the issue with him was that his era coincided with the Ravindra Jadeja because of the batting also, but the kind of bowler he was, and not just in red ball cricket for that matter, even in the IPL, he still has an economy of under 8. If 7-ish, something about 7, just was able to play 2 test matches, and I feel those 2 test matches also he just got because of the hard work and all of things he did across. So it was a gift from God for him.
I agree, but criteria is pretty much like Raman Lamba. At the international stage, he set the stage on fire and he said, wow, and he was going to be the next big thing. See, like that in domestic cricket, there are lots of examples, right? I mean, you're talking about the era when Bedi and all were playing, there was Rajinder Goyal and Paddy Shivalkar also did not get...
Rajesh Puri.
Even Faiz Faisal for that matter, if this domestic cricket
so,
is to be
no, I'm talking about players who showed you they're world champions, but then suddenly, like a Kambli, like a Flintoff, these guys showed you, or a Maninder, they showed you at that level.
Then I have another name. If I
No, your turn will come.
Okay.
Now my turn.
So he's outvoted, Shahbaz Nadeem.
No, we can put it now because you have to fill. So that's
So there's
done.
8.
Eight done.
Raman, Lamba.
So you may not get another chance. My next pick is Manoj Prabhakar. Because of the talent that he had, a fast bowling all-rounder, very rare to get. Plus a fast bowling all-rounder who even opened.
Batted in all
both
positions,
formats.
if I'm not
He's
mistaken.
batted in every format, was agreed to open. And it's not just as a cricketer, but when I got to know or read more about him, like Sanjay Manjrekar's book, he says that in those days where it used to be a green pitch and nobody would be ready to open, he'd say, will you? He'd say, oh, I'll do it. You know, said never scared. And for a bowler who could make the ball talk, once again, could, reverse. In fact, Pakistani players I've heard from who said that the first guy, because they used to keep reverse swing as a secret, he said the first guy who picked it up without us telling him the secret was Manoj Prabhakar.
And he had put Miandad under immense pressure.
Correct. He figured out what to do despite Pakistan. Plus, I in those days loved his aggression because Indian team in those days used to be a nice team of meek gentlemen, very quiet.
Yeah.
And Pakistan used to be this aggressive. The only guy who would be giving them, fighting with the same intensity with them used to be a Prabhakar. Also, as I said, he could do anything: bowl, could swing the ball, reverse swing it, could use the slower ball in those days. All the particular skills. Could even generate pace if he really wanted to on certain occasions and bat in every position. I think that the tint of what happened after his retirement is another reason why people don't bring him up in conversation because it's become a taboo of sort. So just like Azhar, one of the greatest batters, but you'll never talk about him in the greatest batting list because of what happened there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been. I think Prabhakar went through a similar sort of a thing where the Indian cricket fan has kind of ignored him, but at his peak, he was outstanding. I thought with that talent, a rare fast bowling all-rounder talent and the talent that he should have achieved much more than the 30-odd test matches that he played.
It was an ignominious exit also. Resorting to bowl off spin in his final match in Delhi.
But imagine, you had a flat pitch with Jaisuriya and Kaludara and a murderous mood. They could, in today's day and age, we'll accept it if that is happening.
That time they couldn't.
Fat pitch, batters batting like that, they have these bats. What do? You try but in those days it was rare, and so the entire blame went to the bowler for bowling like that without realizing that cricket is changing. These two batters are changing cricket, and if you give these kind of pitches, they'll murder you, as they did to every other bowler.
Every other bowler, yep, they did.
But I think he got the flag for it, and I guess the whole fiction within the team. But I think he underachieved. Should have. With that talent, if somebody could rein him in and get him on the thing, he would have achieved far more for India in that.
Correct.
Okay,
He gets
so we're done with
9.
9.
Plenty of names actually. I'm just wondering which one has.
Only one. And if he picks, then we don't get
I'm gonna go with another Pakistan bowler over here.
Okay.
Mohammad Amir.
Yeah, he should have achieved more.
I think he achieved as much as
But
much as
he
he
was a
deserved.
talent.
Yeah,
Is he one of the greatest Pakistan bowlers
No.
that you
He
talk about?
could have been definitely.
That's
Exactly. That's the qualification.
That is the qualification.
Exactly the qualification.
I don't know. Again, the Mohammad Amir who debuted or the Mohammad Amir who came back. The one who debuted could have definitely been.
But we're not looking at the reason.
No,
The fact that he missed those many years of cricket.
Yeah.
It's his responsibility. But at the end, he underachieved, no? Whatever be the reason. The reason was match fixing at that time.
He was touted as the next
So I'm not
Wasim
looking at
Akram.
the reason. Whatever be the reason. I'm saying, imagine if Mohammad Amir had a normal career. Has he achieved as much as his talent gave him?
No. He hasn't.
Did he achieve?
Nowhere close.
Nowhere close.
Nowhere.
I mean, for all the accolades of him being touted as the next Wasim Akram, he's a pale shadow of that.
Maybe he wouldn't have finished as the next Wasim Akram because it's also tough. I agree.
Tough, yeah.
But he definitely
But he showed promise.
No, but when he actually came and debuted, he looked like a very different bowler, as an attack approach to fast bowling in general. And the fast bowler when he came back, his approach absolutely changed. So I don't know if he would have continued the way he started, or would have he taken the route.
Why do you think his approach would have changed? Obviously because of what transpired. Making a comeback after being away from the game for so long, you have to change. again, it's all conjecture. We don't
Yeah.
know what happened. But I think, yeah, that
So we are
the talent that we
done
have.
with 10. Yeah.
You let us know in the comment section who are the ones you agree with or you don't. In fact, as always is the case, you guys come up with some more interesting names that we may have missed out. So we did the film episode and I did see there were a few films that we completely missed out, like Jo Jeeta Wo Sikandar and all that. A lot of people pointed that out.
Dangal.
Dangal we missed out. Absolutely right. Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
but-
Some very good films, which we didn't even discuss. That's another matter
Yeah.
if they made it into a top 5 or not.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that you know, at least the viewers are on the ball. So let us know this time also. We would have, because there would have been, I mean, quite honestly, they can't just be 10, 12, 15 cricketers that have underachieved. There'll be about 50, 60
Yep.
for sure. So you'll have plenty of suggestions. We'd love to hear about that. And give us a like on our videos. That will just encourage us to do more such videos, you know, with such interesting content. And yeah, as always, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.